Welcome to another episode of Wham Baam Gamercam, full of epic gaming moments sent in by our fans. Kios was trying to cut through traffic in Johnson Valley. He managed to overtake a couple of vehicles. Suddenly, he made an overtake without realizing there was a car in the oncoming lane. Right as he merged from behind a vehicle, he crashed head-on with an oncoming yellow sedan. Alexis was driving in Italy behind a new Tesla Model 3. They were leaving a city when a crazy Audi driver suddenly overtook her. There was also an oncoming vehicle overtaking at the same time, and the Audi driver crashed head-on with the oncoming overtaking vehicle. It caused a 5-vehicle collision, including Alexis. King Sam was stopped behind vehicles after they collided. As he looked behind, he saw for a split second an approaching vehicle. Without a blink of an eye, he got hit by the car that was driving over 100 miles per hour. This submitter was driving his Japanese sports car in Belasco downtown. He was driving at a crazy high speed before he went over a narrow road, catching air. He lost control after he landed and hit an oncoming vehicle before coming to a complete stop at the bus stop. I think it's time to take the bus. King Sam was driving behind a BMW M3 at high speed. It was a flat, straight road in the desert. Suddenly, the BMW rear-ended a stopped vehicle. King Sam had no other chance as he was pretty close behind the BMW driver. He rear-ended the BMW, destroying his car completely. Knuckles was driving on the West Coast Highway at high speed. He was driving his drag hatchback before he lost control and crashed into a fence. His car exploded right after the impact. Champion Aiden was driving on the Shutoko Highway. He was driving behind a few racing drivers. As he caught up to them and joined the group, he got pit maneuvered. He then lost control and crashed into guardrails. Murad was driving a Formula vehicle at high speed. As he exited a tunnel, he lost control. He then crashed into a concrete barrier. Both of his front wheels flew off, as well as his front spoiler. FE2CM guy was driving his Vauxhall. The roads were slippery due to the winter season. Suddenly, a driver failed to yield to a Ford Transit driving in front of our submitter. The Ford Transit T-boned the car. Thankfully, our submitter managed to stop in time to avoid hitting both of them. Eli was driving at high speed on cliff roads. He was speeding through a tunnel. As he left the tunnel, there was a stopped car in front of him. He rear-ended the vehicle before he fell down onto a beach. Zach Lang was driving in Utah when he recorded a red muscle car hitting an innocent NPC driver. The red muscle car then fell down a cliff. Instant justice? 86 Crazy Gamer was driving in Euro Truck Simulator 2. Suddenly he saw two trucks colliding with each other. They also glitched in a weird way, and look how one of them backed up to get back on the road. Meme Stone was drifting with his Cadillac downtown. Suddenly he got hit by a train driving through the city. It threw him into a wall and the train continued its trip. Wilmer was driving in snowy conditions. He was speeding a lot and didn't optimize his driving for the weather conditions. That caused him to lose control, hit a tree and guardrails before he rolled over. His vehicle received a lot of damage that you can now see on the screen. Wilmer was driving in Johnson Valley at over 100 miles per hour. Suddenly, he saw a multiple vehicle collision blocking the road. Wilmer slammed on the brakes, his tires locked, and he crashed into the vehicles. His Tesla was totaled, but the craziest part was the green car that crashed into an electric pole and was completely crushed. Steven was driving at night, heading to Belasco City downtown. He was approaching at a very high speed as he was entering downtown. He lost control on a curve after he saw vehicles in his lane. In an attempt to avoid them, he spun out into a lamp and electric pole. Brend was driving his Model Y. He saw a lady in her Mazda crashing into a Porsche Macan that was pulled over. Everyone got out of their vehicles to talk about it. Colin was flying a drone behind a rally vehicle. He was getting some cool shots before the car lost control and started rolling over. Thankfully, the racer was okay. This submitter sent us footage from Roblox suburbs. He recorded a truck crashing into vehicles stopped at the intersection. Orlupro was stopped in his Tesla Model S. Suddenly, a crazy Japanese car driver lost control and hit his Tesla. Both of the vehicles received severe damage. Cool Kid 123 was drifting in the game CarX Drift. As he was drifting through a curve, there was an oncoming drifter. They crashed into each other, killing their points. Cowboy 7700 was driving his Dodge Durango on the Belasco Highway. He overtook a strange hatchback, which distracted him. He had to look behind him to see that car, but as he looked back, there was a car right in front of him. He rear-ended the car at 137 miles per hour. Me Beef was driving his VW Golf on the highway. He was sliding through traffic, missing the cars just by inches. But as always, there was a moment when he was overconfident and he lost control. He hit a wall, making his car flip over before he started rolling over. Tun was driving his Mercedes in car crushers. As he was driving through the curve, he lost control and crashed with an oncoming vehicle. Both of them fell down into the sea. Tun was driving his Tesla Model 3 in a tunnel at high speed. As he was approaching an exit, he lost control and spun out. He then hit a jump before he rolled over and finally came to a complete stop. Brentley was driving in downtown Italy. He was approaching an intersection when suddenly a supercar failed to yield to him. Sadly, Brentley T-boned the vehicle. This submitter was driving at high speed on the highway. Suddenly, an even faster driver overtook him before the driver lost control, spun out, and hit a concrete wall. Our submitter managed to avoid him and continued his trip. Jack was approaching an intersection in his Tesla Roadster. He got T-boned by a pickup truck. The pickup truck then hit a parked Bugatti Chiron. This would be the most expensive insurance payment I've ever seen. Tristan was driving at night with his vehicle. Suddenly, there was a wild mattress on the road. He hit the mattress and rolled over. Jan waited for the tow truck to pick up his broken-down car. A 1988 Chevrolet Caprice came rushing down the highway without stopping. After the driver tried to drive around the traffic, his car started to barrel roll over the edge of the bridge. His car was unrecognizable and unrepairable.